True peace. Welcome to branch temple number 24 of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Your global branch temple of the Moorish Science Temple of America, teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed. Running a little tad bit off on time, but nonetheless, we are here. So first thing first, I want to go ahead and share the room. Happy holy day. Hope y'all are enjoying y'all Friday, wherever you are. I want to give honors to the divine creator, give honors to the prophet, Noble Ali. I want to give honors to the original staff of the prophet. I want to give honors to everyone that came after the prophet, such as the messenger, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and many others. I want to give honors to everyone who will be coming in tonight to join us, or just tapping in, listening to the replays from wherever you are, whether it's on here or YouTube. So we're going to start everything off with our divine constitution and bylaws. And we're going to get it started for tonight. And we jumping right into our monetary policy, or the monetary series. Getting into that tonight. Alright, so give me a second here. We're going to get into our monetary policy. Alright, y'all, so y'all know how we do. We begin our prayers and thinking by using all. Right? O Heavenly One, the Most High, who is sustainer of all the worlds, we do accept the duty you have laid on us to clean up the filth made by the West and its non-submitting fools. O my sustainer, we beseech you to keep your hand over us to control the streams of the courses of our lives. Our sustainer, and if we do wrong, please show thy divine blessings and forgiveness on us. You are the only one that can raise us true followers of the news bearers, and in thy name, we carry on. Alright, y'all, so let me pin this link at the top of the room for tonight. And turn on our meditation here. So we're going to jump right into our divine affirmations, our 19 affirmations. Called what we accept as facts. They're also called the daily affirmations of loyalty of the children of the Elohim. And as they state, we accept this fact: the eternal laws of nature as revealed through science, past events, logic, and common sense, revealed as right knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We accept this fact: the highest laws of nature is the cooperation and harmony of all living things. We accept this fact: our way of life as a means to the best end. We accept this fact that loyalty is the greatest of all honors and treason is the worst of all crimes. We accept this fact that what is good for the Holy Tabernacle is the highest virtue, and what is bad for the Holy Tabernacle is the ultimate evil. We accept this fact that the Holy Tabernacle is the finest and noblest organization for all humanity created by circumstances, and the ancient and mystic order of Melchizedek is the noblest of fraternities on and above this planet. We accept this fact that creativity, love, and cooperation are the essence of success. We accept this fact that truth and facts are always and has always been the originator and creator of all success. We accept this fact that all worthwhile cultures and civilizations came about from the ancient Sumerians and Kamite Egyptians, and the Anunnaki, or Elohims from the heavens, without which there would be none. We accept this fact that for the Holy Tabernacle to survive, expand, and advance, we need first of all a revolution of values and thoughts, which must start within each person by being truthful with themselves and about themselves. Therefore, we completely and categorically reject all myths, fictions, religions, and lies that have not been proven. That would include your heaven, your hell, your hellfire and brimstone, your horny pitchfork devils, your winged angels, and your old man God character sitting on the throne up there somewhere. We deal strictly with facts. If you can't prove it, we don't want to hear it. That doesn't mean we won't listen to you. Just don't expect us to accept your beliefs by virtue of a title such as Reverend, Pastor, Deacon, Imam, Sheik, Rabbi, Minister, Theologian, etc. That is your sensationalism, and we deal with just the facts. We accept this fact that the only true revolution is a war of good against evil, right against wrong, fairness against unfairness, loyalty against disloyalty, sincerity against sincerity, honesty against dishonesty. And this war's fought within each person among the agreeable and disagreeable Elohims that make up your willpower. We accept this fact that the unity of our community and its success will only happen with cooperation. We're all involved. We accept this fact that total unification of all humanity on the basis of truth. That is, accepting people and races for who and what they are, respecting their culture, their languages, and their beliefs, and expect the same. We accept the fact that the human race, its biological and cultural heritage is now under attack by our own morals, our self-righteousness, our desire to control industry, and these things attack the very existence of humanity. We accept this fact that males as well as females are equal in all things and should be dealt with as partners in all matters. We accept this fact that no one race of people is better than the other. In fact, no one wins the race and racism. We accept this fact that communication between different people is the cure to the ignorance that breeds the disease hate. We accept this fact that a good and well-rounded education could prevent most of the ignorance that plagues the world. We accept this fact that the all is just that. The all. You can't take from the all, you can't add to the all. We are all within the all as one. That is our concept of what you call a deity. To the fulfillment of these facts, we children of the Elohim forever pledge our lives, our sacred honor, and our spiritual zeal. With that, y'all, we're going to get into our Moorish constitutional bylaws for tonight. Y'all know how it go, facing the east. Feet at a 45-degree angle. 5 fingers up, 2 fingers up. Allow the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Ali. Amen. All right, y'all, so we're going to jump right into the divine constitution and bylaws. And as they read, Act 1, the Grand Sheik and the Chairman of the Moorish Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce the laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And it is known before the members of the Moorish Temple of America. Act 2. All means are to be opened and closed properly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God of love. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Temple of America. No members to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because the law is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the state government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of the said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folk, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Ali, through the guidance of his Father God of love. Alright, y'all, so let's get it in for tonight. Wow. Tell. We're going to jump right into our weekly readings. We're going to get it started. Start off with chapter 25 of the Holy Qur'an, Circle 7. As we do here every week. And chapter 25 is the precursor for all intense actions and behaviors of the Moorish Temple of America. Let's stay here every week because it is the covenant between the Asiatics, between those Easterners, as they were referred to when it comes to those who have the sacred knowledge, the sacred wisdom. So we're going to jump right into chapter 25, called A Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. And as it states, ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother had given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with our brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brothers in adversity, assist him. If thy sisters in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all, and your love to each other. All right. So, with that, we're going to jump into these last chapters, chapter 47 and chapter 48. All right. Chapter 47 is called Egypt, the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa. And it reads, the inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family was second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of Mecca, the first true and divine name of Africa. The dividing of the land between the father and the son, the dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest, was his father's dominion of Africa. In later years, many of their brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa, they were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sovereign from the land of Canaan, seeking new homes. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa across Great Atlantis, even unto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands, before the great earthquake which caused the Great Atlantic Ocean. The river Nile was dredged and made by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt in order to trade with the surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those ancient days for trade, and it extends eastward from the river Nile, westward across the Great Atlantic. It was used for trade and transportation. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, Black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the Holy Land of Canaan. What your ancient forefathers were, you are today, without doubt or contradiction. There's no one who is able to change man from the descendant nature of his forefathers, unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator Allah himself. These holy and divine laws are from the prophet Zabuwr, the founder of the Uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that they learn to open their meeting and guide it according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and to create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet and the Grand Temple. I, the Prophet Zabuwr, was sent by the great God Allah to warn all Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways before that great and awful day that is sure to come. The time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess its own. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. That is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, Black, and Color was given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their mother and father, and strayed after the gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing. All right, so this will give you great perspective on the changes throughout history. And even up to present times today. And they use that same trade trade route to enslave a lot of African peoples when more of the pale-skinned Arabs came about and perverting the ancient and divine creed of Islam later on further down the timeline. So we're going to jump into chapter 48 called The End of Time and the Fulfilling of the Prophecies. And it reads, the last prophet in these days is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared divinely in due time by Allah to redeem men from their sinful ways and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus in those days to warn and stir up the nation and prepare them to receive the divine creed, which is to be taught by Jesus. In these modern days, there came a forerunner of Jesus who was divinely prepared by the great God Allah, and his name is Marcus Garvey, who did teach and warn the nations of the earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet, who is to bring the true and divine creed of Islam. And his name is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared and sent to this earth by Allah to teach the old-time religion and the everlasting gospel to the sons of men, that every nation shall and must worship under their own vine and fig tree, and return to their own and be one with their Father God Allah. The Moorish Symbol of America is a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization. Any subordinate temple that desires to receive a charter any subordinate temple that desires to receive a charter, the prophet has them to issue to every state throughout the United States, etc., that the world may hear and know the truth, that among the descendants of Africa there is still much wisdom to be learned in these days for the redemption of the sons of men, under love, true peace, freedom, and justice. We as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. Therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. The covenant of the great God Allah, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be longer upon the earth land, which the Lord thy God Allah had given thee. Come, all ye Asiatics of America, and hear the truth about your nationality and your birthrights, because you're not Negroes. Learn of your forefathers' ancient and divine creed, that you will learn to love instead of hate. We're trying to uplift fallen humanity. Come and link yourself with the family of nations. We honor all true and divine prophet. All right. I see you down there. Copper, bring me up.
Greetings.
Peace, Noble.
True peace, Noble. My apologies, man. I grievously apologize for all this time. I've been working. If not, I've been extra tired from work. I need to stop putting the excuses up, but I more importantly, if I need to start eating right, so that way I won't have any excuses.
Yeah, Islam. Left though, right? So I'm just opening up. I just finished the opening.
Okay, awesome. Are we recording right now?
Yeah, we record. Oh,
awesome.
Mod you up real quick so you can go ahead and keep a lookout on who's coming in and out the room.
Yes.
If anybody want to come up, you can help come up.
Okay.
Islam. Happy holiday, Noble.
Yes, happy holy day, Grand Sheik. Happy holy day. It's good to see you here.
You know, we got to keep the show going. Anything else? So, with that, we're going to go ahead and just straight dive right into it. We opened up last week with what we was going to talk about for the monetary series. We had our economic series, but now we're going to go face first into just the things of monetary policy. We touched on a couple things over the past week on what makes up monetary policy and the different things that that we'll be discussing. So we're gonna jump right on in. As I talked about last week, we gotta really look at it from an indigenous people's perspective. So we're gonna go through first thing first. We're gonna go through the timeline of monetary system and creation of the monetary or even currencies over time. So we're gonna get into that here first. So we're gonna go into this real quick. So I'm gonna drop some links in the chat. Here, start from there. So, of course, like I said, we're gonna be using some things from Wikipedia, read some things from there last week. Put some links in the chat from last week, so you have those there to look into from where we're gonna be continuing from. And then same thing here this week. Some of the links I have here. So get that started. Give me 1 second. Let me check into something real quick on my end, and we can jump right in. Islam. All right, y'all. Sorry about that. Had to tend to something on my end. We're gonna go ahead and jump right in with that. We'll put this link that we're gonna be referencing from tonight. So we got a couple links, couple reference points we're gonna be talking from throughout the series. I'm not gonna pack everything into one day, so please be aware of that. And let's go ahead and tap in. So the first link I put in is coming from in the chat, coming from Investopedia, called The History of Money. So we're gonna go in from there, and we're gonna start with that. Then we're gonna move over to another link. Gonna move over to another link. Probably 2 more links just to verify some of the things that we're looking at. first thing first, we gotta understand that energy itself is currency. So before anything we read for is historical reference points to what a currency is, what money is, what monetary policy is, and understanding those things. First thing first is energy. So when we talk about economics, we're talking about our religious values, our religious cultures, our religious principles. Whether you want to consider them religious or not. This past week I was in a discussion about faith-based organizations or just religion in general versus people that are religious versus people that are secular. And I joined in on the panel, put my little 2 cents in, and kind of stated the same thing I mentioned last week or over the last couple weeks here in our Koopas, and just let it be known that as much backlash as we as indigenous peoples have endured through the means of religion and tenets of religion, we have to also respect and understand that besides getting caught up in people's dogmas, because that is the real main issue behind the failures or the bad juju that come with being a part of some religion or some type of cult, as people like to use that word a lot, is the fact that you get caught up in some one individual's dogmatic principle and their personal dogmas, their personal beliefs. And this is a lot of what we end up seeing when we see sectism, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Islam with all these different sects, or any other culture. You have Buddhism, you have Shintoism, you have Judaism, and you end up with those things. But those are the tenets that create the economy for your system, for your society. So starting out with understanding that first we got to get into that economic conversation. We got to get into it from the standpoint of some type of practicality. Today in modern day terms, if you go back and listen to that economic series, we gave somewhat of what people on this app called Clubhouse would call a masterclass or mini masterclass. But for me, just in general, this is just basic fundamental knowledge that you should even just have without even having to go to sit in someone's class or any of those things. Or even a lot of people pay for a lot of this information to get taught to them, when we just hand it out here free and give you the basic information that you need to take you even further. We went over, economics from the ancient standpoint to the now. So we're gonna get into that now with the Investopedia link, and we're gonna dive in. So as far as with the reference point is stating, it says the terms money and currency are often used interchangeably, but several theories suggest they are not identical. So if you look in a dictionary, you get into your law dictionaries, your black law dictionaries, and other law dictionaries, they'll give you the definition for money and currency. So technically, they are two different things. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat here for what money is and what currency is. So we're gonna be touching on both these things because they make up your monetary system in its entirety. So I'm gonna put that link for that from Investopedia, both of them in the chat, so you all can reference point that. So you want to look at Investopedia like the encyclopedia for finance, for investing, for money. This is one of the links that I always check out, especially when it comes to business and just wanting to know what is the common understanding of that term, that word, and just the key points and breakdowns of it. So as I put the link here, the currency, money, we're gonna kind of go over, what money or currency is, just pressure, so that way we know that. All right, so first thing first, let's go ahead and jump into what currency is, how it works, how it relates to money. So currency, the definition for currency is actually a form of payment usually issued by a government and circulated within its jurisdiction. As currency is a medium of exchange for goods and services, and simply money in the form of paper or coin is, issued by a government and generally accepted at its face value as a method of payment. Currency is the primary medium of exchange in what we call the modern world, even in the ancient world. And this has been replaced by what is considered bartering and other means of trading goods and services. So the key takeaways we want to get from this is that currency is a generally accepted form of payment, usually issued by a government circulating in its jurisdiction, which means within the community or society. The value of any currency fluctuates constantly in relation to other currencies. So that means it goes up, it goes down. It does, all the bouncing around. Currency is a tangible form of money, which is an intangible system of value. Many countries accept the US dollar for payment, while others peg their currency value directly to the US dollar. So that help you get an understanding of the whole pegging system, just a basic understanding for pegging and why people peg their currency to the US dollar. And when it says currency, it says it's the tangible form of an intangible value system. So first, to have a currency, you must have the intangible form of that currency, the denomination, the denominated form of that currency, which could be like the dollar, peso, whatever, and the term itself, denomination of the term itself. So we're going to jump right over into money, which they give the definition here, states a system of value that facilitates the exchange of goods in an economy. So currency is a form of money. So it says money. What is money? Money is a system of value that facilitates the exchange of goods in an economy. Using money allows buyers and sellers to pay less in transaction cost compared to barter trading. So this is different than barter trading. And we went over that in the economic series, how we got from banknotes or bartering to banknote, and why it's more of an advanced way of doing things in society. So we have to understand our input on that change, on that growth as indigenous people, as I mentioned during the economic series. We have a lot of input on it, especially as Moorish people, native people or indigenous people of the entire planet. So it states that the first types of money were commodities. Their physical properties made them desirable as a medium of exchange. In contemporary markets, money can include government-issued legal tender or fiat money, money substitutes, fiduciary media, or electronic types of currency, like virtual currency, cryptocurrency, like what we have today. So the key takeaways here is money is a system of value that facilitates the exchange of goods. The use of money eliminates the problem of bartering, where both parties must have something the other wants or needs. So this is why I said say it's a development and growth. This is that growth. Because if you go back to bartering and things like that, and I realized this is why we got to get itself in that conversation. So we may even go over Dr. Claude Anderson's book, because I do have a copy of the Powernomic, and just started pointing, during this series, start pointing out some key points that we have in reference to having our own economic school of thought and laying down those groundworks. Because this is what I meant when I said we got to get in that conversation and respect the work of our previous scholars now in the past, and those scholars that we have right now with us here in the now time, and show some reverence to the time, the effort, and the work they have put in, the scholarship that they have actually put in, real scholarship that they have actually put in, jotting down and putting down their own thesis for us to really take a look at and see what needs to be done, looked at, understood, and pave ways for solution. So it also stated historically the first forms of money were agricultural commodities, such as grain or livestock. And today, most money systems or monetary systems are based on standardized currencies that are controlled by central bank. And our digital currencies, including cryptocurrencies, also have some of the specific properties of money. So this is why we get into that whole conversation on the digital end, and why it's also still prevalent and us not going back. So money is a liquid asset, meaning liquid, it's a movable, and wanted asset. People want that asset, and it moves fast. So it's liquid. It moves basically at the speed of water when you just pour it out the cup. Money is a liquid asset used to facilitate transaction of value. It is used as a medium of exchange between individuals and entities. It's also a store of value and a unit of account that can measure the values of the good. So, as we know, prior to the invention of money, most economies were using barter. Most of our economies and our indigenous society were based on barter and trade. Old school way of doing things. And then one day you had some of the ancient ones sit down and think about it and say, hey, why not do it this way? Cut out a lot of these problems that we have with the bartering and start using these currencies. So there's definitely a history of ancient coins and things like that we're gonna get into. As
Islam, no, excuse me. Can I add a little something? If I may iterate just a little bit, I'm not sure if this is on 100% on topic, but it's just in experiencing what I experienced in my life and listening to what's going on and kind of reading through the first link that you sent right now, I'm reflecting that. I'm reflecting why the blockchain is so important and why bookkeeping is so majorly important. Islam. Bookkeeping is the accountability of showing, exposing what you've earned, just like a certificate or a degree shows what you've learned, right? The bookkeeping, the bookkeeping, what are they called? The entries of the bookkeeping show how much you. Yes, the bookings showed how much you earned, and it shows how much you spend, your expenditures, so that way you can be accountable for any expenditures, anything that you've gone in and out. You can prove where your monies are going, and it makes you accountable for what your earnings are and where they're going to So it takes me back to a saying, I always tell you about my uncles and my grandfather, how they had little sayings, and I just recently remembered one that my grandfather always used to say. He says, you never judge a man by how he makes his money, because first off, you don't know what a man goes through in order to gain his money, right? He said, but you better sure enough know how to judge him on when you find out how he spends his money. Like, excuse me for saying, but like if a man spends his money paying paying the bills, you know what I'm saying, taking the family out, taking care of the family and different things like that, well, then you know how to judge that man. He's a noble and honorable man. But if they're spending it on frivolous things like too much material objects or prostitution or drugs, alcohol, different things like that, well, then to quickly judge that you have to either stay as far as away as you can from this person, or you go ahead and you just stay away from that person. Period. So Islam. That's all noble. You.
Yeah, you definitely got a good point there, because this is where you actually learn a lot of what you do is about who you surround yourself with and how they move. And as I was in that discussion last week, I didn't get a chance to say it, but it was basically what I was hinting at when I participated in the discussion. But it's not about the people's book and what they read religiously wise. It's about what those people do. And this is how you determine, which, if a person is so-called Christian, so-called Muslim, yada, yada, yada. It's not based on, what they say they are, who they say they are. We are the Shiites, we are this and we are that. It's based on what they do, their action. And where you spend your money, you can say you this and you that, but where you spend your money says a lot about, what, who you are and what you are. And we get to this economic conversation. I was talking to the doc earlier today. I was talking to Dr. Idris earlier about this same thing. Well, we get to this conversation in this point in time of understanding, well, hey, faith is the underlying thing. But if we're going to make real change, we got to have this economic conversation. And, if we keep going through those thresholds or blockages because we constantly hear the conversation, we may be, aware of what the spell that's holding us back is, but we still decide to stay within the spell. So getting this type of information, this type of knowledge is not going to really be, discussed as we're discussing it here. No matter where you go, they're not going to go into these details that we're going, how we're going into them, especially from an indigenous people standpoint, so they can understand why we must come up out of her. And if we're going to strengthen ourselves as a people, why we must have our own monetary system, monetary policy, and be held accountable by ourselves. And this is how you do it. This is why I mentioned the brother Thomas Sowell, as well as Dr. Claude Anderson of Powernomics, because you have brothers like that and many others, a lot of the black scholars or native scholars, indigenous scholars that I've mentioned during the economic series. So of course we're going to be bringing that back up here today and continuing out through our monetary series here that we have. So that definitely is on point. I appreciate the contribution though, because we definitely got to understand these things. So
Islam.
So to continue on, it says the first forms of money were agricultural commodities such as grain or cattle. And these goods, they were in high demand, and traders knew that they would be able to use or trade these goods again in the future. So like future contract. So you had cocoa beans, you had cowrie shells, which is very much a native indigenous thing, and agriculture tools have also served as early forms of money. So like plows and things like that, those serve as forms of money. So keep that in mind as we continue to go into this conversation. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me take care of something real quick. I'll be right back.
No problem.
All right, I'm sorry about that. Take care of something on my end.
Yes, no problem. No.
All right, so as I was saying, we use tools like files and other things that what they call hoes today, and not the double HORE, but hoes like as a gardening tool. So these things were used for trade or as a form of currency during this time. Crowd shell, and that is very much a indigenous people's concept from Africa all the way over here to Native America, and either European society or Asiatic societies. A lot of Asiatic societies use cowrie shell. So understanding this history, especially our input as indigenous people, is still talked about in modern day reference points and in school books, things like that. But we have to know who we are, what our contribution to history is, where to find it, and how to convey that to our people, our indigenous people. So as it states, it says, as economies became more complex, money was standardized into currency. So currency is a form of money, as I mentioned earlier. It says this reduced transaction costs by making it easier to measure and compare value, as Dr. Shalom Locke mentioned earlier. Also, the representations of money became increasingly abstract, and from precious metals and stamped coins to paper notes, and in the modern era, electronic record. So we went from stamped coins, which we gonna get into a lot of those ancient coins that were issued and minted by sovereigns, by the king. So this is why when we get into some of the conversations that we're gonna have about what have our contributions been into having a monetary policy, having our own economic school of thought, what our school of thought is about, and just giving just that fundamental information about it. So when we dive deeper into that, you'll have a great foundational understanding while we have to continue this economic conversation amongst our peers. Instead of having a conversation about Blueface and his girl, who the latest baddies are, etc. Just those conversations that have nothing to do with us as a people and our economic growth. And then we turn around and we wonder why we're going through this as a whole, as a people. And when you're in business and whether you look at yourself as a boss lady, etc., whatever, your whole goal is to serve people. Your whole goal is to put other people on. Your whole goal is to create an economy, a thriving economy that circles around you. So learning these principles, learning these things will help you in your growth, will help you, with who you're looking to raise up as a people. So to continue on, into the properties of money. So to understand what are the properties of money, and in order for money to be useful, money should be fungible, durable, portable, recognizable, and stable. These are the 5 principles or properties of money. These properties must reduce the transaction cost of using money by making it easy to exchange. So we're going to get into what each of one of these properties mean, why they are important, and the purpose of them. So you'll understand the basic of numismatics. This is getting into the science of money. There's an actual science behind money. So a lot of people that wanted to get into creating these cryptocurrencies over the years, and they watched us do it, and they see us do it, they don't have no clue what the heck they're doing. They don't really even understand these basic tenets and basic principles of what we're doing, why we're doing it, and the things that we're working toward. You might be a good trader. You might be, a good investor. You might be, a good person and compliant. But that don't necessarily mean you understand the science. And this is the standpoint that we have been moving from from the core of our projects and the things that we've been doing, because this is the stuff that I was researching and also getting certifications in now to understand the banking system, understand Islamic banking, have a diploma in Islamic banking. We are a Islamic-based society, and technically, all indigenous cultures, all ancient cultures are indigenous-based, and all the indigenous cultures are Islamic-based, and not to be confused with Orthodox Islam, but the ancient and divine creed of Islamicism, the pristine, pure form of Islam. So when you understand that, we as a people have always submitted to the will of the divine, the will of the spirit, ancestral spirit, etc., however you want to look at it. We are your original peacemakers, your original Muslims, your original Muslims, everywhere on the planet as well as off the planet. So yes, we can give Prophet Ibrahim the honors of being the father of many nations from this planetary standpoint, but this also goes back to an ancient way of living based on the divine, being in submission to the divine intelligence, the divine spirit, whatever you want to call it. In our terms, we have Simi and other terms in different languages from different tribes, and how they describe, or the term that is used for the divine, the spirit, the creator, or creators, etc. So with that, we're gonna put off these properties till next week. We're gonna put off these properties till next week. We're gonna jump into our reference point, our other reference point, which is the Wikipedia. And we're gonna continue on from where we left off. And we're gonna continue on from where we left off last week with those reference points. Well, I'm not sure if I put this in the chat, but we're gonna put that in there. And this is just to validate the points of discussion in our series and what we're gonna be getting into. So I just put the link for the history of money in the Wikipedia. From Wikipedia in the chat. So if you're listening also from YouTube, when we upload these to YouTube, just basically do your search from the terms that we're talking about, and click on the links from the actual website that they're coming from, because they don't have chat form on YouTube. So you can get into that you can get into these links from just having to kind of do your own search if you're listening outside of Clubhouse. So we're gonna get into this reference point. We're gonna close out here because I do want to open up for current events on time, even though we did come in a little late. I just know things are gonna be a little slow today because we are under the weather, at least where I'm at. Not sure what the weather is like where you're coming in and listening from. But with that, we're gonna jump right into what it states here on Wikipedia. It says the history of money is the development over time. The history of money is the development over time of systems for the exchange, storage, and measurement of wealth. Money is a means of fulfilling these functions indirectly and in general rather than directly, as with barter. It says, money may take a physical form as in coins and notes, or may exist as a written or electronic account. It may have intrinsic value, as in commodity money, or be legally exchangeable for something with intrinsic value, which is representative money, or only have nominal value, which is fiat money. And that nominal is just that documented book credit, which is the fiat money, the money of the community itself or the government of that community, which is basically the currency or the money of that community. So this is going to be something that hits heavy from this reference point here. So y'all might want to, do your screenshots, take notes, because it's about to make a real heavy point here, and this should be understood. So the overview is money was invented before written history began. Consequently, any story of how money first developed is mostly based on conjecture and logical inference. The significant evidence establishes many things were traded in ancient markets that could be described as a medium of exchange. These included livestock and grain, things directly useful in themselves, but also merely attractive items such as cowrie shells or beads, which were exchanged for more useful commodities. However, such exchanges would be better described as barter, and the common bartering of a particular commodity, especially when the commodity items are not fungible, does not technically make that commodity money or a commodity money, like the shekel, which was both a coin and representative of specific weight of barley and the weight of that sack barley. So this is where we get into those multifaceted principles as we discussed, because as we know, a shekel is also connected to a weights and measurement formula. So this is where those complexities kind of get into the popping up. So as it states, due to the complexities of ancient history, ancient civilizations developing at different paces and not keeping accurate records or having their records destroyed, and because the ancient origins of economic systems preceded written history, it has not been possible to trace the true origin of the invention of money. Further, evidence in the histories support the ideal that money has taken two main forms, divided into the broad categories of money of account, which is debits and credits on ledgers, and money of exchange, which is tangible medium of exchange made from clay, leather, paper, bamboo, metals, etc. As money of account depends on the ability to record account, the tally stick was a significant development. The oldest of these dates from the Akkadian about 30,000 years ago. The 20,000-year-old Ishango bone found near one of the sources of the Nile in the Democratic Republic of the Congo seems to use matched tally marks on the thigh bone of a baboon for corresponding counting. Accounting records in the monetary system sense of the term accounting, dating back to more than 7,000 years, have been found in Mesopotamia, and documents from ancient Mesopotamia show lists of expenditures and goods received and traded, and the history of accounting evidences that money of account predates the use of coinage by several thousand years. David Graeber proposes that money as a unit of account was invented when the unquantifiable obligation, I owe you one, transformed into the quantifiable notion of I owe you one unit of something. In this view, money emerged first as money of account and only later took the form of money of exchange. Regarding money of exchange, the use of representative money historically predates the invention of coinage as well. In the ancient empires of Egypt, Babylon, India, and China, the temples and palaces often had commodity warehouses which made use of clay, token, and other materials which served as evidence of claim upon the portion of good stored in the warehouse. There is no concrete evidence these kinds of tokens were used for trade. However, only for administration and accounting, which we know they was used for things. So you have the use of metals that came in eventually. Then you have these theories of money that came in, and a lot of Greek philosophers, which they learned from ancient Egyptians. Then you have the concept of money supply, which brings us right back into the economic conversation. Then we have the technology behind creating money and getting into some more prehistoric things and getting into who the predecessors are. This is what we're going to be doing. So we have that reference point to start with, and getting into what monetary policy is made up of today. But as we can see, it mentioned ancient Egypt, Babylon, ancient China, ancient India, where we know are hotspots for indigenous peoples and where they traveled and settled and built things. So clearly, us as a people, we are the foundation of economic, politics, as well as monetary system. So we want to make sure as a people, as we look into these things and have reference points of what it is, what money means, what it represents, what it's about, how to understand it. We have a foundational understanding of these things and this information. Because even when you get into certain schools and certain universities, they don't really give you these reference points. So this is why I mentioned earlier, and the text from Wikipedia just validated what I stated. Islam has been practiced going beyond the stars before so-called written history, or what they understand to be written history on this planet. So that means we had a culture from then and even before then from different planets. Well, you have monetary systems, you have your own writing systems, you have your own languages, etc. But it's all centralized around the same point and principle. Because if you notice, Babylon, Egypt, Atlantis, India, America all share the same structures, whether it's pyramidal structures, whether it's pictoglyphs, the writing systems, political structures, different economic philosophies, they all center around the same core principle. So for those that get into the Tatarian thing and things like that, it's back around again, but it's not just with the architecture of the buildings, it's also dealing with philosophies, the concepts, the currencies, monies, etc. So you want to go ahead and keep diving into those reference points. I'm gonna go ahead and reset the room real quick so we can open up for our economic discussion. I'm sorry, our current events, and we'll come back, continue this from where we left off, and just continue to go deep down the rabbit hole or the foxhole with our monetary series. So welcome to branch temple number 24 of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We are a global branch temple of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed that they may learn to love instead of hate. Come link yourself with the family of nations by clicking that block of words at the top that says World Temple. Join us, and we'll be here every Friday and Sunday. Those that accept the invite for Sunday's gather, and come and join yourself in our divine mission, which is to uplift all humanity. With that, I want to open up the space for our current events and discussing the things that are taking place this week, this month, etc. Got good news, share good news, always do. And this is for those, not just for me and Doc here today, for those listening from YouTube and or from listening to the replays here at Clubhouse. Because this gives us time to give us a chance to actually have our temple meeting, the meeting side of the temple service for tonight, discuss things that are not just happening also, in different parts of the world, but also what's happening here in the temple, things that we need to be aware of, things we need to take care of, get done. And any news, especially good news, because we want to share the good news, but any update, things like that need to be shared among the members of the temple, the society, the divine and national movement. We can get that information to the people. So with that, we're gonna open up for current event. And I do want to first let it be known that we still are going through a monetization process. Will be done here in about 2 weeks or so, giving it about 2 more weeks, closing out on, and we should be monetized. So we'll be got some good things planned in the works for that. And we do got a lot of things going on in politics, and the needle being moved with the whole Palestine and Israel issues. So not sure if people have been coming across that, but we do have that. You got the whole big issue of people being pro-Palestine and people being pro-Israel, and just the back and forth about that. I'm gonna hold my peace on it for right now.
Well, if I may, Islam. I can't really hold my water on my tongue on this subject, but I believe it's another attempt at controlling a group of people. Simple as that. There's really no solution in war. There's really no solution in war. People feel it's usually the people that are greedy in power already, that wage war against other people that are weaker and trying to gain some kind of power structure themselves, or either trying to gain back their own power that was stolen previously. So, I mean, I'm not going to go into detail about how I feel. I'm just gonna iterate on the facts as we know, and as we've seen, throughout history, time and time again. And with that, I yield. Thank you. Islam.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because it's a lot of back and forth about that particular topic at hand. We also got the election and things that's been going on with Trump and his circle, but it's just basically just good old plain Jane shit show. Excuse my French. With the whole political aspects of things. But I know there's been just the major news and headliner for right now. And also in the background, you have the World Economic Forum, and there's a lot of stuff coming out in these government panels and these local conferences between the people in the city and the state. So y'all want to be politically active, as we mentioned here all the time. You definitely got to get politically active and keep your head on swivel when it comes to things. But as far as us in the temple, as I mentioned, we are close to monetization. We got some great things planned. Once that is given the green light, we'll definitely be taking care of a lot of more things that need to be done as far as the projects that we have, and other things that we're going to be implementing. And we can be moving forward into, the things that we've discussed here. I definitely look forward to figuring out whether we're going to be continuing on Clubhouse. That's also one of the things we want to keep our members updated about, is whether we'll be remaining here on Clubhouse or moving to another platform. It depends, and I'm still trying to be patient about them allowing us to download our recordings, because that's how I actually take the records here and put them on YouTube. So just trying to be patient, waiting on Clubhouse to see when they're gonna allow that to happen again. If not, of course, that means we're gonna have to say goodbye Clubhouse and move to another platform, which I definitely do not want to do, because we built a great following of people here, and they're used to us, being here on Clubhouse every week. And there's a lot of creators that have left the platform and have minimized their time here on the platform because of the changes. And that's really, it's really hurt to people and work that has been done. But nonetheless, we still want to keep you guys updated. We haven't made that final decision if we're going to change platforms yet or not yet. But we do want to, keep that in mind, that might be something that will come up, and I'll be updating everyone there if we do decide to move. But other than that, like I said, we got the whole YouTube situation going. We got good news with that. We want to focus on the good news, things that's coming about with that. So you want to add to the content, bring more content here to the space, and we definitely want to support our content creators and our scholars that are actually, doing the research, doing the work, and support one another. But beyond just support one another, get into this conversation that we're having here in this monetary series for the next couple of weeks, because we have to have a pivot. Islam, you want to chime in?
Yes, Islam. I just, do you have an objection of us being on multiple platforms?
No, I don't. I definitely want to do that. I would like to do that. But I think I mentioned that last week. I'm not in the a good space to do the multiple platforms. So when I'm in a better space, then we could do that, to where we can go live on Clubhouse. We can go live on YouTube and possibly Twitter and all other live stream platforms all at the same time. So that is something that I do look forward to us doing. I do have a streaming platform that we can use that allow us to go live and stream on multiple platforms. So I'm definitely interested in it.
Okay. Because that seems more feasible. Because I see everybody, watching other creators and things like that. Everybody's pretty much reaching out and making sure that they're on multiple platforms nowadays instead of just one. For multiple reasons. Sometimes people choose what they choose. I mean, it's as simple as that. So if we're on multiple platforms, we'll be able to reach some of the masses that I believe we've never even thought that we could encounter. That's all.
Yeah, you're right about that. And LinkedIn have a platform, but you also have your streaming platforms like Twitch and Kick. So we definitely gonna be getting into it. I do have a Twitch profile. Like I said, we working on monetization right now with YouTube. So we are eligible for monetization. So we met that threshold there. So we're just gonna start with one platform and keep going, to the next one. So one platform at a time. and that add to create multiple streams of income and revenue for ourselves. And like I said, just bring in more like I mentioned last week, we bring in more content creators, contributors, and they help support. We support their channels, and we start creating that circle of revenue for our economy.
Right. That's good.
We might as well take advantage of the technology that we got at hand and utilize it to our best ability. Because been doing some research, and that's just one of the things I've noticed is that a lot of the circles that are into the enlightenment movement, the conscious community thing, a lot of them don't capitalize off of the potential that you have through being content creators. So they probably build up a big following, have 100,000 subscribers and things like that, but they don't never take it. I don't never see them taking it to the next level, and like what we have in mind, and like I've been saying, a lot of the youngsters, in this content creation space, do how they work together, how they come together to really support the movement of whatever it is that they're doing, and really work together, not just on screen, but off screen. They it might be on a small, minute level, but they're communing together, they're working together, they're building a brand together, and each one of them might have their own different platforms, but they're all centered around one brand, and communionship. Whether it's they're buying houses together, buying the marketing, getting into the marketing aspect of it. It's just all around the board. Whether it's cross promotion, whatever it might be, they're working together. So I don't see that aspect with us. So that's one of the things I want to make sure we implement. Not just for the temple, but for the whole entire divine and national movement, and we set that example.
Islam. It was very noble, very good.
Islam. So, I don't know if you got any other current events you want to discuss or updates, anything like that. But if not, we're gonna jump into our weekly readings, and we're gonna get to our holy instructions for the night, so we can close out. But if you don't have contributions, we can go ahead and move to the El's Holy Qur'an, the weekly readings from the El's Holy Qur'an. Islam.
Yes, Islam. One last thing I wanted to kind of bring up. If I'm not sure, but if we could keep tabs or keep the people on tabs on when the next times we're having nationality events, where people can actually come in or make it out to Chicago or their local temple, or how they can actually become Moors and join the movement. I just like to keep a refresher on that. Keep the people in mind. Remind them, keep it in their mind as well, to remind them that they can also participate in this movement. They don't just have to feel left out. That every Moor across the spectrum of this globe is able to participate and join in this movement and make it a greater, join the cause. Simple as that. Join the movement. Make it a greater thing, so that way we can go ahead and strive instead of just survive.
Islam. This is actually our month for that, the ceremony, the national ceremony week is in October. Mostly between the 10th through the 20th of October every year. So next year we'll be able to get into it more. We'll be more prepared. Last year, the year before that, we wasn't prepared. So of course, we had other issues for that. But this year, we definitely wasn't prepared for that. So next year is gonna be something that we can't prepare for. We supposed to do it every month, not every month, but every year. But we're gonna prepare for it. So that'll be something that we definitely get into and can update the people about. I think I mentioned it last week. I'm not sure if I did, but if I didn't, I appreciate you for bringing that up, because we have the opportunity to take our people here to Chicago and actually go through chambers with them, and just gave me the reminder I need to tap in with the Grand Maker Temple. So they could, they know, they see the work that we're doing here on Clubhouse, so they know that we're constantly here, doing the work, doing our kupas, things like that. But just following up with record keeping, and making sure we are we're in good standing. That is something that we do here, and we're supposed to do every October. I think it come back around January too as well, because I know I think Chambers opens up every year, twice a year. So I gotta get the dates on that. But other than that, it's definitely something that we do during the month of October through October 10th through the 20th. So those that want to become members of the temple and visit the physical temples and become adepts, especially those that will want to be adepts of branch temple number 24, we'll be doing that and taking that Hajj to the Grand Temple. But like I said, I really appreciate that, because that's one of the things that we do have planned to do when we continue on just providing content for our YouTube pages and other platforms. We can be streaming live and just doing other things as we go as we go on through our journey. But I do appreciate you bringing that up, because that's very pertinent for people to know and understand.
Yes, no problem. No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be, making that known. Like I said, that's one of the things I want to get into, especially with the content creation. We can document our journey there, the journey while we're there, the ceremony, actually document that. And then this, just our spiritual travels, our spiritual journey, from other, places of notoriety that we may visit as well, and use that, for content on our YouTube channels and just platform. That way people can keep up with us and what we're doing. But, we also have a way to support the movement and the traveling, things like that, because it does come with a cost to get there, to get back, as well as while you're there when you're in Chicago. Because I know I spent a pretty penny when I went, and when me and Noble Rahim, when we went to Chicago and did our Hajj. So with that, we're gonna close out current events. We're gonna jump into our next section here. El's Holy Quran Weekly's reading this week. We still on chapter 39. It's kind of long. It's still kind of long, so we're just gonna jump right on in, and then from here we're gonna jump into our holy instructions and mandatory literature for the evening, and we're gonna close out. So this next section that we left off on is called Adam's or Cadman's offspring will watch against their own self. Enocytes and Jinn will be prepared for Jahannam. So we're gonna jump into this next section. We on chapter 39, ayat 172, where we're starting from. And as it reads, and when Yorah took from the backs of the sons of Adam, or Zakah, Duriyatahum, their offspring, and made them to watch Allah over their own selves, is it not I not we, Yorah? They said, of course we watch. You will say on the day of resurrection, surely we were unaware. Or you should say, it is but our fathers who set up sharp association from before, and we were offsprings after them. So would you destroy us because of what Al Mutalum, the ones of falsehood, did? And like that, we not he, the Elohim, made the signs detailed, so that perhaps they would return and recite to them the news of he whom we, the Elohim Anunnaki, have given. Our, not my, sign. But he withdraws from it. So he made Al-Shaitan, or Samael, Nakas, Azazel, the reptilian, follow him. So he was of those who are astray. And if we not he, the Elohim Anunnaki, pleased, we would have Rafa Nahu. We would have Rafa Nahu, raised him. Thereby he leaned toward the ground, and he followed his own desire. So his likeness is the likeness of the dog, or Shaggy. If you are firm to him, he pants, or if you leave him ignored, he pant. That is the likeness of the kindred, or Canaanite, of those who lied about our, the Elohim, sign, or verse. So you narrate Kasasa, the stories, so that perhaps they would think about it. The worst of examples of the nation are those who lied about our, the Elohim sign. They also were unjust to their own self, meaning the red desert Edom. Whomsoever Allah calms, so he is of the calm one, and whomsoever he makes to go astray into error, so those are they who are the losers. And indeed we not he, the Elohim Anunnaki, have prepared for Jahannam, hell, many who are of the malevolent beings, cherubim, of the jinn, and of Al-Insi, half human, half demon. The Enocytes, they have hearts, but do not overstand by way of no soul, meaning they don't have a soul. And they have eyes, but they do not see by way of them. And they have ears, but they do not listen by way of them. They are just like Al-Anam, the cattle, behemoth, or human beast, but they are more astray in error. These are they who are the unaware. So this next section is called To Allah Belongs the Best Name. And it starts off at ayat 180, and it reads, and for him who, as an H.U, who belongs the best of names, Anu, Aliyun, El, Yahweh, Adonia, Adon, Shaddai, or Shari, Alun, El Roy, Rab, Allah, Hashem. So you are to call on him by using them, and you are to avoid those who deviate from using his name. They will be punished for what they were doing. And from those which we not he, the Elohim Anunnaki, created, there is a kindred who comes by way of the facts, beyond any doubt, Militu Ibrahim, and by it, the facts, they deal justly, meaning Nuwabu, those Nuwabi, or Nebuah, the Nabi. And of those who deny our not mine, the Elohim signs, which is the Torah, the laws, basically, we not he, the Elohim Anunnaki, will gradually punish them in a way they would not know. And I not we, will grant a respite for them, meaning the pagan, desert Arab, and Jews of Muhammad time. Surely my plan is unfailingly firm or strong. So this next section is called Muhammad is not of the malevolent being or jinn. And that starts off at ayat 184, and it reads, Have they, the Meccans, not think that their companion, or Muhammad, is of a malevolent being, jinn? Surely he is only a clear warner. Didn't they, the Meccans, see that in Malakut, rulership of the Samawat, heavens, firmament, and the planet Earth, Tiamat, or Al-Ar, and what the source Allah, Khalaqa, created from Shayim, things, and that may be that their faith or debt will certainly be near. So tell me, in what hadith or tale will they, the fools, have faith in after it, meaning the Qur'an? So this next section is called, They Will Ask You, Muhammad, About the Hour. And that's ayat 186. And it reads, Whomsoever the source of Allah leads astray into error, so there is not a calmness for him, and avoid them in their rebellious. They blindly wander astray. They ask you, Muhammad, about the hour. When will its time tell them? When will be its time? Tell them this, Muhammad. Surely the knowledge of it is with my sustainer. None shall manifest it. It is with my master, who is Ra. None shall manifest it as its time, except he not we. Heavy shall be it in the skies and the planet Earth. It will not come to you except of a sudden. They ask Muhammad, as though you, Muhammad, are well acquainted with it. Tell them this, Muhammad. Surely its knowledge is with the source, Allah. But Nas, or Inosight, don't know that fact. So this next, I'm going to try to get us to the end of the chapter, because we pretty much done. We got one page left. So this next section is called Muhammad does not have the power to benefit or harm you. He is only a warner. And that's starting at ayah 188, and it reads, Tell them this, Muhammad, I do not have the power, possess for myself any benefits nor harms, except that which Allah pleases. And if I knew about Al-Ghaib, the unseen, verily I would have asked for the goodness to be multiplied, and that Suwa, the evil, will not touch me. For I am only a warner and a bearer of good news to a Qawm kindred, to his own kindred who are faithful. It is a Yahuwah called Inki, named Nunimu, who Kalakam created you all, more than one from Wahadatin, one nafs, person, female, meaning Ninti, and he made Minha from her, Ninti, Zajaha, her mate, talking about Eve on the cable, to dwell towards it, the enclosed garden of delight, for a resting place. So when he, Adam, the Inosight male, mates with her, Inosight females, she carries a light burden or pain, so it passes by way of the pleasure. So when it grows heavy, the climate, they pray to Allah, their Rab, and when we not he, the Elohim Anunnaki, give them a perfect being, a child, then we ought to be forever thankful. This next section is called, Those who associate partners with the source will not have any aid. And this is starting from ayat 190, and it reads, So when he not we, gave them to Adam and Hawa a perfect thing, set, the child set that they had, they made him partners in what he had given them. But most Allah exalted is Allah above what they associate with him. What they associate as partners with him, who, H.U, the creative force of will, is that which does not create anything. And they themselves, Anunnaki, are created. The Elohim, Anunnaki, were also created. They will not be able to have for them any aid, and neither can they aid themselves. And if you call them to the calmness, they will not follow you. It is the same for you, whether you call them or you keep your silent. Surely those who call upon other than the source, Allah, you are like slaves. So call upon them, and they will answer you if you are Sadakim, truth, Zodokite, or Zodokites. Do they have feet? They walk by using them? Or do they have hands? They attack by using them? Or do they have eyes? They see by using them? Or do they have ears? They hear by using them? Tell them this, Muhammad. Call upon your associating partners. Call upon your associating partners, then plot against me. You will not look upon me. Surely my nearest friend is the source, Allah, who sent down the scripture, the Qur'an from above, and he Yatawala becomes the near friend of those who perfect their being, or themselves. And those who you call upon other than him will not be able to aid you, and they will not be able to aid themselves. And if you call them towards the calmness, they cannot hear, and you see them looking towards you, and they cannot see. Take the forgiveness and the command of the kindness and turn away from the ignorant. So this next section is called Seek Protection in Allah from the Disagreeable Suggestions of Al-Qanas, or Qanah. And this is starting at Ayat 200, or verse 200, and it reads, whenever Satan, the reptilian, Al-Qanas, Samael, Halal, son of Shakar, suggests a wicked suggestion to you, so seek protection in Allah. Surely he is Sami, hearing, Alim, knowing. Surely those who tremble at the mention when a part of Al-Satan, meaning there's more than one Satan or Satan group, satanic group, Satans, the reptilians, touches or afflict them, they will remember. So then they are the ones who see, and their brothers extend them into Al-Gayi, the state of error. Then they will not be able to desist. And when you, Muhammad, don't come with verses for them, they, the Meccans, say, why have you not chosen it? The verses that they want to hear from Muslim ibn Habib al-Hanif. Tell them this, Muhammad. Surely what I follow is only what has been inspired to me. The inner sights are from my sustainer, who is robbed in a yielding mercy, for a kindred who have faith. And when the reading, the Qur'an, is read to them, so listen to it attentively, so that perhaps you all may receive a yielding mercy. And remember your sustainer, Rob, is in yourself, humbly and with reverence and without jair, loudness, when you speak or teach in the early daytime hours and through the shadow hour period, and don't be of al-Ghafalin, the neglectful. Surely those who are in the possession of your Rob do not become big-chested, pouting with pride, but slaving for him, and they glorify him, and they prostrate before him. Sudaka Allahu El Azim. So this chapter was kind of tense, kind of long, but it clearly gives you the discernment that you need to have. And it's no coincidence that Dr. Shalom Alak mentioned earlier, you know a man by the nature of his spending. Just like we say, you know, a person by the nature of their art. That's pretty much the same thing. If they are, you know, spending money on prostitutes and material things, etc., that lets you know the type of being that you're dealing with versus someone who's paying the bills, you know, contributing to his community, contributing to his family. That lets you know the type of being that you're dealing with. Or someone chasing after false knowledge, false information that can't be proven. You know, who knew in the Qur'an that it was making reference to the false Muhammad? And the hadiths that came later. Because simple and plain, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he's an example of examples to follow. So these Quranic teachings is just saying, hey, pay attention to the examples before you. Even those beings that you call the Anunnaki, we are the Anunnaki, we are the Elohims, we are the deities, we are these beings, but we are not the source, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's a major difference. These are things that we knew, whether it's in ancient America, ancient India, ancient Africa, etc., all across the world. And you find those terms, you find those words where there's no reference for God and or supreme being or this, that, and the third. You have Odamari in ancient Africa. You have the Kachina. You have different names for the divine or the great spirit, etc. The ancestral spirit. The divine intelligence. All across the board. So these elementals, other aspects of the divine creation, it's all there. So, you don't gotta believe me, but check it out for yourself. But that's that's this week's reading, and this is why it's important we have this economic conversation, because this also mentions, being amicable in your affairs when it comes to, your behaviors, your mannerism, the things you associate with yourself, the things you associate with the divine creator, and your connection to the divine creator. And with that, we're going to open up with our holy instruction tonight and jump into that conversation. I was discussing with Dr. Dries earlier about how, a lot of people are being taken advantage of. They're being charged thousands of dollars to understand their nationality, proclaiming their nationality. And, it gets crazy in that so-called sovereign citizen world. And a lot of our people don't even know they're connected with it. They just think it, the thing. Though I get, you want to be rebellious against corruption. We all should have that principle within us, But just knowing the ways of the world, society around us, there's people that don't have that principle and that concept within them. So you got to be aware of that as well. So you want to keep that in mind. But we're going to get into these holy instructions for tonight. And we're going to close out with our mandatory literature. But I do appreciate you, Doc, for stopping by, joining me. I hope Brother Johnson is okay, because he usually in here with me. I haven't seen him about a week or about 2 weeks. Tap in, all right. But we're about to go over the instructions for proclaiming a nationality, how simple it is. If you want to get into other things, the information that I'm giving is fundamental. So it's not all the advanced techniques and things like that. And a lot of our people need this basic stuff before they try to get into, being advanced and trying to, dunk the ball behind their back and all that kind of stuff. If you don't understand the fundamentals of the game, there's no purpose in learning how to dunk the ball behind your back. So with that, we're going to dive into our holy instructions. We went over our civic virtues, which is the cultivation of our habits for the success of our community, which is, what economics is about. We discussed our civic engagement, which is the process of us coming together and taking collective action to address issues of public concern. And, that's what we talked about when it comes to our, politics that addresses our economics, our religious tenets that unfolds into becoming, our monetary policies, our economic policies. So with that, as y'all know, Friday is the holy day, or you who know, or ye who know. When the call is proclaimed to supplication on Friday, the day of assembly, hasten earnestly to the remembrance of the Heavenly Father and Divine Mother, and leave all business and traffic. That is best for you if you but knew. When prayer is finished, then may ye disperse through the land and seek the bounty of God and celebrate the praises of God of 10, and without stint, that ye may prosper. All chaplaincy, temple services, and meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh, and ascended unto his Father God of love. For that cause Friday is the holy day, is our holy day for all Muslims and peacemakers all over the world. This is according to Act 2 of the Divine Constitution and Bylaws by the Prophet Zabuwr, which states all temples and subordinate temples are to conduct holy day service every Friday, starting promptly at their respective time and ending promptly at their respective time. All civilians, patrons, denizens, prospects, and ministers are expected to attend the temple for the Friday holy day temple service and meeting. On Fridays, the Moorish American, Moorish Asian, and Moorish African Muslims and peacemakers all come together to supplicate and to illustrate that which Allah has blessed them with. The temple services are open according to divine love, true peace, freedom, and justice. At no time will templars, adepts, ministers, patrons, or outside congregational guests be allowed to disrupt the holy day service, nor will civilians be admitted under the influence of alcohol or any severe intoxicant. All templars, adepts, civilians attending the holy day service must have their heads covered with either a turban, fez, or kufi, or spiritual covering. Baseball caps should not be worn in the temple or during temple service. The Sunday school temple service and meeting is mandatory, and all Moorish nationals, templars, and temple denizens must promptly attend the temple service and send their children to the Sunday school gathering. The teacher must conform himself and herself to the Temple 101 questionnaire, and let every civilian man, woman, and child exercise his or her 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation and now the entire global village. According to Act 5 of the additional laws by the Prophet Zabuwr, every subordinate temple should have 2 Sunday school gatherings held. The first meeting should be held 1 to 2 hours before the adult service. Children's Sunday school should be conducted by a director of the Children's Sunday School and program. The Sunday school gathering is designed to assist the temple in learning the Temple 101 questionnaire and developing an understanding of just what these holy deeds mean and how they ought to be applied to our everyday lives. The Divine Constitution and Bylaws, along with the Moorish prayer, the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation, El's Holy Injiyl, El's Holy Qur'aan, and the civic editions or lessons of the Holy Temple of Moorish Science are also subjects of major concern for the apprentice who is trying to complete his or her mandatory requirements for pronouncing their temple civilianship and global nationality. All lessons for the adult Sunday school gathering must be prepared by a grand sheik, a divine minister, or an assistant grand sheik. Lessons called by us novice additions may be submitted to the apprentice for completion and returned to the temple. Once the lessons are completed and graded, they must be placed in the active members' temple district file. The Sunday school temple service and meeting is a wonderful opportunity to study the liturgy teachings of the prophet. No civilian is to become disruptive during the Sunday meeting. All templars must bring paper and pen to the temple service and meeting along with the basic temple literature and assignment. No templars or patron is to eat food or other snacks during the temple service or meeting, but water is permitted. All templars must attend their Sunday temple service and meeting as diligently as they attend their holy day temple service and meeting. Both are called out for by the Prophet Zabuwr and is required as a matter of temple law. According to the Divine Constitution, Act 7 in part, all templars must promptly attend their temple services and meeting and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and now also Moorish Science Temple of Africa and Moorish Science Temple of Asia, and adjoining world islands on behalf of all indigenous people. For membership, any heads of temple of all temple jurisdictions are not to charge for naturalization or to overcharge for cards, buttons, or anything issued by and through the prophet. Those who contribute to any of the proceedings are not Moors, civilians, or patrons, or robbers. Temple nationality and membership in the Holy Temple's vast estate or public beneficiary trust, what we call a public beneficiary trust, sisters and brothers, kin and kinfolk, is free, not only here but all over the world. All kin and kinfolk desiring to become a civilian of a subordinate temple must follow these instructions from the temple secretary and acquire the naturalization application found on their temple website. The secretary for the temple's jurisdiction will help all newcomers by explaining the naturalization affidavit and application for membership in the temple's vast estate, or what we call a public beneficiary trust, to the new prospective civilian of the temple's vast estate or public beneficiary trust, and arranging for him or her to be consulted by the royal council of said temple or subordinate temple. The royal chairman or woman will set the date for the new temple prospect to be interviewed by the royal council. The new temple court civilian, upon completion of the royal council's consultation at the newcomers gathering or Sunday school gathering on Sunday, the new templars will proclaim their temple nationality at the next upcoming holy day temple gathering. After the new civilian prospect proclaims his or her nationality, they will be given the mandatory requirements necessary to earn their free national name and royal title of nobility as a true American royal. These requirements are as follows, and in accordance with Chapter 47 of the Moorish Circle 7 Holy Qur'an, called Egypt, the capital dominion of the Empire of Africa, Chapter 25 of the Moorish Qur'an, called the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation, the Moorish prayer, including the 101 Qur'an questions for Moorish Americans, Asians, and Africa, the Divine Constitution and Bylaw, the additional laws, and the precept, statutes, and ordinances from El's Holy Torah, El's Holy Injiyl, El's Holy Qur'an, the Holy Tabernacle Family Guide, and also the Holy Tablets through our Civics 101 course, in the Global Interdependent School District in Sacred Cause of Learning, which is called New University by us of the Holy Temples of Moorish Science for everyone of the global village. Once a new civilian or template has learned these additions or lessons verbatim or to the best of their ability, he or she will be interviewed by the Temple's Royal Council as a chaplaincy to determine if the new civilian is qualified to represent himself or herself as a faithful Moorish American, Moorish African, and Moorish Asian, Muslim, or any indigenous peacemaker, and communicated to the ignorant for their instructions and communicated to the wise for thine own improvement. Once the new civilian or template has cleared the mandatory requirements with the Royal Council, he or she will be naturalized by the Grand Sheik and Divine Minister of said subordinate temple. So, just bearing with those instructions, if you can't get it all in one lump sum, feel free to kind of come back here and continue to listen to it. But if you listen carefully to these holy instructions as we go over them, which we're also going to include the Holy Shahada, which I'm going over this portion next. But this is the simplicity in proclaiming your nationality and changing your status. And make sure you get with a temple that is on record with Cook County. You have HR 0689. You have a lot of things that support you changing your status. You don't have to go all out by changing your name on your birthday, your records and things like that, but you can. Those are just, extra precautionary measures that you can do. And you have a basic reason for it, because now you have what they call the good name, or the christening of your new name, your appellation. And you have a society, you have a group of peers that recognize you and acknowledge you by that name. So now you can go get a legal name change, things like that. But there are actual foundational reasons for doing these certain things, and establishing these things, that we can get into. We're not just going to be giving you, processes and, throwing out all these different things like that you need to do to proclaim your nationality or change your status. None of that is required. Come as you are, as they say in the church. Bring your butt in here, learn, and become a building block, and, in the pyramid of things. So, with that, we're going to get into our Holy Shahada, our proclamation of nationality procedure. And the proclamation of nationality procedure pronunciation of one's nationality will be held on Holy Day for all civilians, denizens, templates, peacemakers, or Muslims all over the world. During the ceremony, the new civilian or templates will be ordained in El Bay or Day and given his or her royal peerage title of Ken, Honorable, Lady, Noble, Nan, Naya, Prince, or Princess by a Grand Sheik and or Divine Minister, and also receive his or her nationality card and button from the Divine Minister of the Grand Major Temple. Upon conclusion of the nationality proclamation, the Grand Sheik and Divine Minister will have the civilian templates and temple prospect stand while he or she reads the authority of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It is by virtue of the Religious Corporation Act document that can be found in Herod's revised statute that gives the Moorish Science Temple of America, Asia, and Africa the authority to restore the nationality and birthrights of the lost Asiatics of America, Asia, Africa, and all world islands, and give them the title to their vast estate and their heritage. The Grand Sheik and or Divine Minister is to read from the card and have the new national state, Allah is God, and Abu Draw Ali the Prophet, and I am Moorish American, African, and or Asian, and or world islander. This is our Moorish clarification of faith or Shahada, and our national pledge of allegiance. The new civilian and templates free national names should then be added to the Temple Book of Life as they enroll in the Civics 101 course and our complimentary World Civics Club. The nationality ceremony should be conducted by the Grand Sheik and Divine Minister or any other Divine Minister so designated by the Grand Sheik and Divine Minister in his or her time of absence, and most notably by the Assistant Grand Sheik and Divine Minister. The nationality card and naturalization application must be signed bearing the name and title of the Grand Sheik or Divine Minister who issued the application and the date of its issuance. The Religious Corporation Act document has deemed the Global Interdependent School District and the Incorporated and Chartered Moorish Science Temple of America, Africa, and Asia as a religious trust and theocratic government established in 1928 on August 20th. This religious trust is the true global trusteeship system for the Holy Family of Nations, forming global new. So real quick before we get into the mandatory literature to close out for tonight, I want to thank my noble, my brother, Dr. Shalom Alak here, for being in attendance with us. But also I want to make you all aware of the fact that not all nations need to have an army. Not all nations bear arms. There's a lot of countries around the world, And some of them are more of the wealthy country. And you should look into that. But there's a lot of countries around the world that do not have armies. They don't have army. Especially some of the more wealthier countries. They do not have army. So just because they antagonizing you as a Moor and they coming at you with these things, when they ask you, what is your currency? Who's the body? All these questions are easily answered because we operate under a theocracy, a theocratic form of government. And we like to say a nucratic theocracy here from branch temple number 24 because that's our customs that are in conjunction with the laws of the prophet. Because we know it's not just the authority of the prophet that we're leaning on. It's also the authority of the divine creator. And, as much as people want to get into saying, talking about spookism, we know the divine intelligence is real. Now, the dogmas you may have may confuse you, and the dogmas that you run into from other people may confuse you for why people put their faith into something that's unseen. But you yourself have to breathe. You yourself have to breathe, and you can't see your breath. So how do you have faith that you are alive? And some people feel empty and dead inside, but that's another discussion for another topic. But with that, take heed to that. And we're going to get into these mandatory messages from the prophet and from the literature of the prophet. And we're going to close it out. Hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. Kind of glad we got to end a little before our ending time. So we're definitely on time with that. But I'm going to jump right into literature. We're going to close out. So let's get into these messages that are to be proclaimed in every temple meeting and temple service. All right, this is a warning from the prophet that's to be read in every temple service and temple meeting. The prophet said, I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the street. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop fasting your card to Europeans and cause confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Fail to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, true peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deed. All true Moors will and must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where the prophet found them. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Zabuwr, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet therefore is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and their temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful way. True peace, Zabuwr. Right, so we want to extend the olive branch of Islam. And we know the prophet has the message. So click that link at the top. Join us. We here every week, every Friday. I'm not gonna go into the message that the prophet has for us, but just know we extending the olive branch. You need a spiritual home. You need a spiritual place to call home. We right here. You need a place to learn, bring people to get the fundamental knowledge, and we clear up a lot of the misconceptions of things. Bring them right on in. Click that block of words at the top and say World Temple join. So we're going to get to this last mandatory message from the prophet. I'm not going to change the link out, but y'all definitely can click on the link that's there and go to the temple donations to become active members. Make your free will offerings. Is way less than a coffee to be an active member in the royal audience. Understand that we operate as a royal body of people. We are royal government. You are a sovereign theocratic government, and we are the royalty. We are the royalty of that society, of that movement, and just in general, period. The term itself more relates to nobility, and when you look at other names that makes reference to us as people, they're coming from the state of or the status of chattel property. these are things that were given to you, by way of, calling yourself such and such. But these are terms that we use and refer to ourselves. And there was a time when the term Moor was also used as a status of chattel property. But doing the research, doing the knowledge and learning, also now we should know and be aware of that the word Niger, or as the master teacher would say, the word nigger is in the Bible. And understand that you find that that term being referenced to us as a people. And there was a time when that was understood that it is a title of nobility. And actually it still is to this day, because if you look at the word Nagus from Ethiopia, that means an emperor or a king. So whether you're using the N-word or Nagus in reference to us as the emperors and the rulers, or you're using the word Moor, you're making reference to us as a noble people. We are a noble and a royal people, and you have things that come with that. This is how you change your status from being looked at as chattel property, slave of a corporation. I'm not going to get into a depth to that as we close out, but if you understand what I'm saying, the message is for you, and this knowledge is here for you. And like I said, we're here to give you the fundamental. So with that, we're going to get into this last message that's to be proclaimed in every temple meeting and every temple service. You can click the donation link that's on the link that's pinned at the top of the room now, which is our Civics 101 course catalog page for our Global Independent School District. We do have our own independent school district where we're grading not just universities, but high schools and things like that, starting from the virtual side and building up, building from the top down. So we just not out here talking. You got real scholarship. You got real, real builders, real projects at hand, real things to put your sweat equity behind. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the message. Islam. The Prophet said, I'm glad to know that I have a few faithful Muslims among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There's a host of jealousy about me in the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation, as American citizens, they are working every scheme they can to disqualify me, or so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting fund. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That's why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is faced in the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without me, the prophet, being here. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet, Joali, Islam. But like I say, the donation link is in the link that's pinned at the top there above. For those that's on YouTube, it's actually on the description page. If you want to donate, we also have our Bitcoin address for the treasury, our Bitcoin treasury address on there as well. Get involved, get around some active Moors, and participate in the things we're doing. We need to make that current events conversation, a little more healthy, a little more, compact with just with dialogue and discussion. We need to be coming together about the things that we need to do. That's the time to talk about economics. That's the time to talk about business. The plans that we have as a branch temple. Members of the branch temple, things that we want to do around us, our community, and our society. We know what the project is that we have. We have the news project, the Noon project. We know what we're developing. We know we got the sauce. And I'm glad now, we got a lot of distraction around us, because that gives us time to build. We looking for those, and we're reaching out to those that are trying to move away from the distractions. And we got some real live examples that about to be set, and we pushing our way through. So we're definitely gonna be setting an example with what we're doing with the YouTube thing, creating the revenue, so we can clear up this discord that is still there amongst our people today. We get to the kumbaya situation, but we can't move past the threshold of understanding we need our own currency, we need our own books, and monetary systems, and come together about these principles. Nobody needs to be attacking Dr. Claude Anderson and his work, talking about why he hasn't implemented it by himself. You can't implement a whole economic plan with just one person. So a lot of the selfish attitudes, a lot of the selfish behavior, you got to be able to pay attention to these people's patterns, how they're living, and the things that they concern themselves with. So that way you won't miss the boat, you won't miss the things that are about to come about, from those that are gravitating toward fifth dimensional living versus those that are living only for the moment. With that, Islam, Hotel,
Islam.
I'm gonna close out with that. We're gonna get into this last thing, this prayer. Close out with the prayer. I don't know if you got any last contributions you want to make before I do the prayer. No, before we close out, Islam.
Islam, Noble. Grand Sheik, I just want to show appreciation. First and foremost to Allah. Second to Noble Drew Ali, and last but not least to yourself for keeping things in accord, for keeping the true faith, and keeping things going for us, so that way we can reflect and go back in our recordings and continue to learn and grow. Islam, how you?
No, appreciate. Glad to have you, Noble. We will be back here next Friday, next week for Holy Day. Hope you enjoy the rest of the evening with the family. And I will be here Sunday, waiting on y'all to accept the invites for Sunday Newcomers Gather. I don't jump in unless I got enough invites of people that want to come in for the Sunday school gathering. And the activity now on Clubhouse is a little low. So, besides that, we understand the outreach that's going to come, with the monetization on YouTube and just putting, finance into our marketing and, attracting more of the like-minded people that need to get this message. They get involved, they start adding to and contributing to the works that we have at hand, and in the direction, we're looking to take as we continue to move things forward, and just learning how to be better managers of our affairs, better managers of our finance, our projects, things like that. Because we're learning every day. Nobody's perfect, of course, but we do do the work to perfect ourselves, and we do the work to be the best of, examples. So with that, hope you all enjoy y'all weekend, and see y'all next week. As y'all know how we do, facing the east, feet at a 45-degree angle, 5 fingers up, 2 fingers up. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Amen. Alright, y'all, with that, I'll see y'all next week. I'm about to go get my grub on and my good eats. Islam, y'all. True peace, big bro.
Islam, Noble. You have a good evening.
You too, big bro. One love.
One love.
Peace.